Hi, I'm Gerard Paul, the pro-life guy. You know, when a baby is aborted, when you bring your baby to the abortion clinic to be aborted from your body, it comes out in full form. It comes out with arms, legs. It has a torso, a head. It has fingers, toes. And when your child is aborted, they throw it into a bucket. Do you realize that when a murderer is put onto death row and he is given the death penalty and he dies, that they have the common human decency to give him a burial? The family comes, and clergy comes to give him his last rites. But meanwhile, the baby, the aborted innocent baby, doesn't get a burial. That baby doesn't get a funeral. You know, the murderer gets a funeral. The pedophile gets a funeral. The rapist gets a funeral. The person who went out there and hurt so many people and so many families gets a funeral. They get a decent burial. The aborted baby, who is innocent from beginning to end, gets thrown into a bucket. Sometimes the baby comes out alive, and it still gets thrown into a bucket. That boy or that little girl gets thrown into a bucket to die and never gets a decent burial, never gets a funeral. The murderer, the rapist, the pedophile, the criminal, they get funerals. They get burials. If the state puts them to death, they get a burial. If they go in front of the firing squad, they get a burial. If they get put in the gas chamber, they get a burial. The baby, who was killed so many numerous ways from the womb, which goes from the womb to the tomb without a burial, without the common human decency of a funeral. Terrible. This thought just occurred to me tonight. To show you what we're doing. The human race, we're medieval. Abortion is barbaric. It's something that they would have done 400 or 500 years ago. But meanwhile, today it's commonplace. It's a common practice. When you bring your baby to be aborted, they take it out piece by piece. The nurse sits there and counts the body parts to make sure that they all came out of your body. And then they throw them into a bucket. And that baby is discarded like a piece of trash. No burial, no funeral. Anyway, the thought just occurred to me tonight, and I wanted to transform it to you. And like I always say, life is a miracle. Save the babies.